name's Carly Seward. I'm with the Seward Group at TTR Sotheby's International Realty, and I serve lots of people through residential real estate. And then I also am a Reiki master, so I serve people in a spiritual sense on the side as well.
Okay, lots of exciting things to kind of dig into. I'm
Yes.
excited to learn more. So, take me back to how you got started in all of this. Tell me how you got to where you are today.
Oh gosh, my journey has been very interesting. Certainly not linear, but I wouldn't change that for the world because to me, every experience I've had plays into who I am today. So I actually grew up wanting to be a starving theater actress. I did conservatory training at NYU to School of the Arts and then transitioned into the wine industry because what do you do while you are trying to make it as a starving theater actress? You wait tables. And my first job was at Del Frisco Steakhouse in New York. And at the time, they had the largest wine cellar. And we would get pre-shift meetings with folks that were in the wine industry, and we'd taste through wines and learn about it. And I had a little aha moment. Wait, people can do this for a living? So I quickly pivoted from theater and went into the wine industry, where I was for 15 years. But obviously, the theater background serves me well in my content creation. And I'm not afraid of speaking in front of a crowd, which is, I'm learning, pretty unique. And then I decided to transition into the family business of real estate because we're third generation. My grandfather was in residential and commercial. My mother has been our team lead for over 20 years. My father was a longtime contractor. So I really wanted to put down roots, stop traveling, and really focus on serving my community.
Very cool. Lots of exciting things happening that have happened along the way and have led you to where you are now.
Yes.
Very cool. And as a third generation real estate professional with the Seward Group, how do you honor your family's legacy while still shaping your own distinct identity and approach in the business?
Absolutely. That is a great question. Well, I have incredible mentors, most of all, my mother, and she has a flawless reputation in this industry. There is no one that sees that they're going to be across the table from my mom and says, oh no, I'm worried about this getting to closing. She is a consummate professional. She is a diplomat. She leads with humor and grace. And she is unbelievably buttoned up and organized. And I am a creative type, right? So I will be definitely taking from her the structure, the service, the attention to detail. She is so good about relationship management, and I want to keep that legacy going. I think that, and my mother would agree, that I tend to have a bit more out of the box thinking and creativity. And so I just plan to build on what I'm not planning on changing much, right? It's just a small shift of putting my own signature on the team when I eventually take it over, and a little bit more out of the box and creativity.
You guys seem like the perfect duo, and you're able to just expand it with your own creativity, like you said. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm so lucky to have the biggest cheerleader in my mom, and she absolutely wants me to put my own spin on the Seward Group once it's my time to take it over when she decides to retire, which I hope is not anytime soon. She's unbelievable, and I'm not ready for her to go yet.
Absolutely. Well, I know you will do amazing once that time comes.
Thanks.
So, your background in theater at NYU still influences how confidently and creatively you express yourself today. How has that experience shaped the way you communicate and connect with people in your work?
In order to be a good actor, you have to be a good listener. You have to be authentic. And those are skills that I absolutely take with me, being able to read the room. And this plays into a bit of sort of the intuitive side of my life as well. But you need to be able to really read people and read a situation in order to be the best advocate for someone. It also helps in the negotiation process. If you can know the motivation of the person across the negotiation table for you, it's going to go a lot better. Instead of forcing what is the expression, a square peg in a round hole, you really see what's there. You live in the moment. You pick up the energy and the emotions of the people that you're interacting with, and you respond to it in an authentic way. And those are all things that I learned in theater, but that also come to me naturally So the theater training has really only helped my sensitivity, my ability to read the room, and my ability to be the person that that person needs me to be in an authentic way. It's not like I'm playing a part, but you need to show up as your different selves depending on who you're interacting with and what their needs are.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing that you're able to provide this personalized experience no matter what kind of client that you're dealing with.
Oh, absolutely.
Very cool. And you spent 15 years in the luxury wine world and created the Verasian Project to make the industry more diverse and equitable. What lessons from that chapter now shape how you help clients navigate real estate in the DMV?
Interesting. There are a few things that are similar with luxury wine and with real estate. For me to be successful at selling luxury wine, I really had to be detail oriented. I had to know everything there was to know about this particular bottle of wine that I was attempting to sell into restaurants or wine shops. You need to know the year the vineyard was planted, what grapes are there, how long it's spent in oak, some details about the winemaker. And I take that same mentality when I go to sell a home. It is my job to tell the story of that home and to know every detail there is to know about that home and what makes that home unique. So real estate is still sales and it is still storytelling. And it's up to us to really paint the picture for our clients and for potential buyers of what makes this particular home, special and unique.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I love that analogy between the wine and also the real estate. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're both luxury items, of course. They're tools for connection, and it's really about knowing your stuff at the end of the day, right?
Doing your homework,
Doing
right?
your homework.
Awesome. And so for people who've never heard of it, what is the Verasian Project and how does its mission mirror the kind of community change you want to help create here in the DMV?
Oh, great question. So the Verasian Project I founded along with several other wine industry professionals in May 2020 after the murder of George Floyd. And at the time I was a single mother working full time and I knew that I couldn't protest in the street. So I focused on the one corner of the world that I could influence, and that was wine. That had been my vocation for quite some time. And wine, like so many other professions, was dominated by white men. And I'm of the attitude that a rising tide floats all boats, and equality is not a pie. There is so much to be benefited from when all people have a seat at the table. We're talking about diverse perspectives, not just in terms of race, but also socioeconomic background. Every person has a unique perspective, and it's our loss as a society when we don't want to hear from as many voices as possible and when we don't give them a seat at the table. So in the same way that I was an advocate to try to get as many opportunities for people of color in the wine industry, I take that same mission into real estate and in the work that I do as an activist, because to me, owning real estate is the key to generational wealth. And I want people out of survivor mode and I want them into being able to thrive. That's what I want for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love the point you made about having different perspectives at the table. That is so important, so key in today's world. And you're doing a really great thing. And I really applaud you for that.
Thank you.
And kind of pivoting a little bit, I know you're fully fluent in Spanish.
You wouldn't think, right? But yeah, surprise.
How has being bilingual allowed you to better support clients and advocate for them during the real estate process?
Fascinating. This just came up yesterday. I am currently on the hunt for wonderful buyer clients who are trying to find an off-market deal. And there was a home that I had previewed that was really dated and ended up getting torn down earlier this year. And now they're building a new construction. And I wanted to find out a little bit more, right? If this was an end user, if this was going to go back on the market. So I stopped by the construction site and I was able to speak to the gentlemen who were working on the construction site and get details about who the builder was, who they were like. I got it all. So I was able to start a conversation with the folks that are going to be listing that home. And we may be, fingers crossed, on our way to an off-market deal. But that's just one example, right, of this secret superpower I have of being bilingual.
Wow.
Yeah,
It really shows that you just go that extra mile to do what needs to get done for your client.
absolutely. Thinking outside of the box, right?
Yes,
Creativity.
absolutely. And going back on kind of what you said earlier about, home ownership as a tool for generational wealth and community stability, when you think about the DMV specifically, what's your bigger vision for who gets to own here and why it matters?
So right now, we in Virginia and specifically Northern Virginia, I believe are on an unsustainable path where only a few own a lot. And if we want a thriving long-term career in real estate, we should all want as many people to get into the homeownership game for us to have a job in the long term, right? If investors keep snapping up any opportunity for someone to own a home, we're going to be out of a job in the not too distant future. So luxury real estate is wonderful, but we also need to be able to get more people into homeownership. And we're seeing that first-time home buyers are the oldest they've ever been. I believe the average was 39 years now, which is bonkers. And so I would love to see more creativity. In Alexandria, they're doing some really great out-of-the-box thinking. Aaliyah Gaskins, the mayor of Alexandria, has been integral in advocating for creative, affordable housing solutions. There was a recent project on Seminary Road that was a lottery system for low income. But that being said, low income being like $80,000. So truly like middle class. And it's sad that we're now at a state where we're having to do a lottery system for people who are middle class to be able to afford a home. But we also need to be flexible about zoning, just because when we think about housing, we also have to think creatively, like condos, apartments. That's home ownership. We have to be open to going vertical, and certain neighborhoods need to be flexible on allowing multifamily units to be part of their community for us to get as many people who want to be homeowners into homeownership. And to me, it is unconscionable that someone who works in a community can't afford to live there.
Absolutely. It is heartbreaking, and especially for the younger folks today, where it just takes a lot longer to be able to buy a house.
Absolutely.
So you are doing some groundbreaking work here for especially those younger clients looking to buy a home.
And just trying to speak up about policy and support folks who are advocating for policy that will get more people into homeownership is the name of the game.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thanks.
And another pivot, as a correspondent for Virginia Dogwood News, you break down policy so people can actually understand how it affects their daily lives. What does that process truly look like to you?
So basically, I love this side hustle of being a correspondent for Virginia Dogwood News. It fell into my lap, and it's sort of this perfect way to bring my theater background and my passion for politics and activism into one place. I describe myself as a news translator. Not everyone cares about politics the way that I do. Not everyone's a policy wonk. And so how can I create a minute to a minute and a half long video about a pretty complex topic and break it down in a way that people can understand, that people can share it, and just get a little bit more engaged. I also love that the focus for Dogwood is about local politics because that affects our lives often more than national politics does. And I forget the original question. Sorry. I want to make sure I answer it.
Oh, no, you're good. Basically, when you break down policy so people can actually understand how it affects their daily lives, what exactly does that process look like to you?
Got it. Okay. So the process is there'll be a particular issue. So what I will do is I will take an issue, say it's a national issue. I will then frame it. How does this impact Virginia? So in the case of the firing of several people in the Department of Education that kind of went unreported, this was a division that specifically affected folks with IEPs. So I had to lay out like 185,000 students in Virginia on IEPs, and this was how this is going to affect all those families. So not only just announcing that something is happening, but how many people are going to be affected in Virginia and what that's actually going to look like. I try to roll the tape forward for people. Or in the case of the Medicaid cuts that happened, this is how it's going to impact rural hospitals and thereby jobs and thereby the local economy there. So I always try to lay out, here is the issue, perhaps it's a national one, here's how it's going to impact Virginia. And where I can, I try to give an action item in terms of whether it's to engage a specific public servant or otherwise. I always try to give some sort of action item so people can feel like they have some control over their destiny.
Absolutely. And just kind of knowing what to do going forward and they can inform their opinions on it.
Yes.
I think that's a great opportunity for people to go and really get informed and knowledgeable about what's going on around us.
Absolutely.
How does your presence as Carly in the DMV help you connect with real estate clients who value authenticity, transparency, and staying informed about what's happening in the DMV?
Yeah, I realize I'm a pretty unique offering as a real estate agent. A lot of real estate agents stay away from talking about politics, stay away from talking about spirituality. And I'm of the mind that if I show up as my authentic self, I will be a magnet to work with people who I'm meant to work with. I don't have a scarcity mindset. I have a mindset of abundance, and I believe there's enough business for all of us. And I can only attract the clients who I can serve their highest and best good if I am my true authentic self. And I genuinely believe in that sort of law of attraction and energy flow. So it's worked out for me that I have a fantastic platform with the Dogwood, and now there are tens of thousands of Virginians who know that I'm a realtor. And if they want to vote with their money, right? Like we do vote with our money. And when you work with a real estate agent, their commission is an energetic exchange. So I want people to know exactly where their money is going and that it's going to someone who's going to support policy and initiatives and nonprofit work that is in alignment with them, that we share the same values. But that being said, I am a surgeon. I will give the most phenomenal service to anyone. I don't care what your politics are. I am a human being. I'm a consummate professional, and I want the best for literally all people, even if you don't agree with me on every policy.
Carly's your woman to go to is what I'm hearing.
Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you.
Wonderful. Yeah, I just love how you're able to, again, with that personalized experience, you're able to really help out whatever the client is needing, looking for, and just also provide all these other pieces of knowledge you have in regards to your activism, spirituality, things like that.
Yeah.
And then also kind of jumping into that, I know you're a Reiki master and deeply attuned to energy. How does that intuition really help you read both people and spaces during the home buying process?
Great question. I, in my capacity as a Reiki master, do have the ability to read energy. And I've had fellow realtors come to me and ask to cleanse their listings because they feel some sort of energy or entity, and I'm able to do that for them and sort of move stuck energy. I've also saved clients from making a purchase on a home that I felt was beyond my help, and I wouldn't even go into the basement. And I'm not scared. And so for me to be like, I can't even go inside this basement was a pretty big red flag. And I previewed the home first, and they agreed with me on my assessment. And then in terms of, I spoke about it briefly earlier, but in terms of my ability to negotiate, I use my intuition and my ability to read other people as a way to know when to keep pushing on something and when to hold at the negotiation table. I have this innate sense of when something is going to be too far and someone's going to walk away, or when, hey, we can ask for that. Ultimately, it is the client's decision, but I do try to let my intuition help guide the process as much as possible.
What a great way of putting it. You're there to help really guide the process.
Yes.
Almost as if you're kind of holding their hand the whole way through. And I feel like that's just a great thing to be able to rely on, and such a important and big milestone for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And it is 100% the client's choice. Everything is there, but I'm able to offer both professional guidance and energetic spiritual guidance should they want it. Not necessary, and it's okay if that's not your bag, but if you want that additional gut check, I'm absolutely here. But I also, through my life, want to encourage people to tap into their own intuition, because I believe that all of us have that ability to live a guided life, and we just need to be willing to tune in.
Wonderful. I think it's a great thing for everybody to put some more thought into.
Yeah.
And, with so many meaningful projects and passions in motion, what helps you stay grounded, focused, and aligned as you navigate your professional life?
My family, my kids, my husband, my parents, sister. But yeah, I have 3 kids, 2 stepkids, 1 biological daughter, and a wonderful supportive husband and really supportive parents. And that is really my number one focus. And everything that I do is for them, particularly my kids. Everything I do and every choice I make is to try to make this world a better place for them and other kids as well. But I want to give them a better life. I want to leave this world better than I found it. And I want to instill in them the same values of seeing goodness in every person and trying to leave every person better than you found them.
I couldn't have said it better myself. What a great role model and pathway that you are leaving them to really just study and follow behind.
Oh, thank you.
And, for someone looking to connect with a real estate agent who blends expertise, intuition, and authenticity, how would you describe the experience of working with you from that first conversation to closing day when they get their keys?
Great question. In the case of if I'm helping someone find a home, if I'm representing the buyer in a transaction, we'll start with a buyer consult, and I really sit down and it's listening, right? People tell you what they value, what their needs are, and then I guide them through the entire process, whether it's connecting them with a trusted lender so that they can know exactly what they can afford and feel good about, to setting up auto emails to pace the market, see when things come on the market. I also keep my ear to the ground and find out, as we talked about earlier, about off-market opportunities. I love going shopping with clients and taking them to their homes and to their potential homes. And my dad is actually a really fantastic resource. So he is still on our team. He's a retired contractor, but he has his real estate license. So when we get narrowed down to maybe your top 2 choices, I bring my dad in and I have him walk the homes with us. And he, as a master carpenter and contractor of over 45 years, can spot things most of us can't. He knows when a lipstick's on a pig. He knows if there are structural issues. He can point those out, but he can also let you know what can be done. So say it's a fixer-upper and you're wondering if you can tear this wall down. My dad can let you know if it's a load-bearing wall. And he can let you know about what to expect to do certain things in the home that you're envisioning. So I roll deep, and I'm very fortunate to have my family. And then at the end of I will negotiate fiercely on your behalf to make sure you get your dream home at a price that feels good to you. And then we'll celebrate. One of the great things about my background in luxury wine is you will have a fantastic closing dinner.
Absolutely.
Believe that.
No doubt about that.
So yes, we work hard, we play hard, and your relationship with me really only starts at the closing table, because I want you to be in it for life. I want to be there for your big milestones. If you're a first-time home buyer, I want to be there and maintaining a relationship for you so that when you're ready to make the next step, I'm the one you want to call, and I'm the one who earns your business.
For sure. And I want to say you have such an admirable work ethic and business model. And I'm so excited for everything that comes your way in the future for you.
Thank you, Katie.
And one last question. Is there anything that you would like to add before we wrap up?
Let's see. If you want to learn more about who I am or how to work with me, you can find me on social media. My handle on Instagram is Carly in the DMV. I also have Carly in the DMV as my handle on TikTok as well. And I would love to have a conversation.
Wonderful. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It was a pleasure to hear your inspiring story.
Thanks for having me.